Todo lo que pido de ti es que siempre me recuerdes amándote. Todo lo que pido de ti es que siempre me recuerdes amándote. Todo lo que pido de ti es que siempre me recuerdes amándote. Todo lo que pido de ti es que siempre me recuerdes amándote. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you.
Different problem. I've got water, thank you. So everyone, would you like to stand for our opening song so we can start our day with love?
I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, is love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. All right, get ready for joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy.
Now we get to let it all flow through
I
us.
start my
day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy. And I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy. And I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy. And I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy. And I feel that sweet release.
Woo! That's a way to start our day. Thank you, you two. Laura Berryhill and Anton Miserat. Good morning, everybody. How are ya? You are fabulous. Welcome, welcome. I'm Kimberly Hawkins, Senior Minister here. I welcome each of you, no matter where you may happen to be on your own personal spiritual journey, to Center for Spiritual Living Rogue Valley in partnership with Unity of Medford. And as I say every Sunday, we are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive faith community. We teach tools here to transform personal lives and to help make a world that works for all. And I love that first song in the prelude. Tell me again what it is, the prelude song. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. Because I take that both ways. Do you? You know, it could be from somebody that you love, or it could be from the divine. All the divine asks of us is to forever remember the divine is loving us. Just love that. Let's see. If there's anybody here for the first time, we'd love to just give you a little love. Anybody here? First timers? No? Okay. And we welcome everyone online as well. Thank you for joining us. I have some people to introduce. If you were in our meditation this morning, you heard Nancy Clay, our practitioner, who is now sitting high watch. So she's praying for the highest and best of everyone here, everyone online. And our pulpit practitioner this morning is Reverend Laura Stewart, who will be doing our invocation and reading momentarily. You've met these two wonderful folks, Laura and Anton. If you have not already done so, please turn your cell phones off or in airplane mode. Not silenced, off or in airplane mode. That takes care of the energy in here, both for our individuals who are energy sensitive and for our equipment, which is also energy sensitive. So before we turn it over to Laura, I want to do two things. I'd like to do a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we gather this morning on the ancestral homelands of the Letgawa people and other neighboring tribes here in the Rogue Valley who occupied this land well before us. We honor their enduring relationship with their land, their culture, their wisdom, and their resilience. May we remember that we're guests upon this sacred ground, and may we commit to living with greater respect, justice, and care for the earth and for one another. Before we go into our prayer, a couple things. Please hold your applause after this particular song. We're going to have a song first. Two announcements. I just wanted to acknowledge the death this week of Reverend Jesse Jackson, who stood for justice and so many things, and just maybe we could hold him in prayer as we do our prayer this morning. And also for our own community, some of you remember Linda Russell, who was a member and attended here for years. In fact, she was here before I arrived. She made her transition Sunday evening, and she will be having a memorial service Monday at 2 at the Manor. So anyone who knew and loved Linda, please feel free to come. So at this point, let's take our collective deep breath. And we'll turn it over to our musicians. Thank you.
So the Center for Spiritual Living Rogue Valley is a joint church with a Unity, and every fourth Sunday of the month, we try to play some Unity songs. So we're going to do one of those Unity favorites.
In the midst of his children, there the Lord said he would be. It doesn't take very many, it can be just 2 or 3. And I feel that same sweet spirit that I felt oft times before. Surely I can say that I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence
of the Lord is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Good morning, everyone. So just quieting our minds and opening our hearts, we relax into the awareness that right here and right now, everything is unfolding in perfect divine right order. All is perfect, whole, complete, because all is God and absolutely nothing else. I know that it is that presence that saturates the consciousness of everyone in this room and everyone beyond. It's what's drawn each and every one of us to be here today, to continue to awaken to our spiritual magnificence. Our essence is wholeness, peace, grace. We are the expression of God in the world. That expression that is so deeply needed, so craved, so wanted. And it is ours to bring that forth. For this and so much more, I'm incredibly grateful. I'm grateful for everyone who is participating in this service, allowing for this teaching to go out into the world, raising the vibration of our communities and our planet. For that is truly why we are here, to be that magnificent expression of God in the world. So I simply release this into the spirit of love and the action of the law, knowing that it is manifesting far beyond our imagination. And so it is. And today's reading is from the February 10th Daily Guide in Unity, in Daily Word, from Unity. Grace. I accept grace gratefully and offer it generously. Grace is a divine gift that can manifest as love, generosity, kindness, and help. We need not pray for grace. We need only to open ourselves to it and the many ways it comes into manifestation through us. The unexpected kindness, the serendipity that spares us of a dreaded outcome, being forgiven for a hurt that we've caused. These are all ways that grace expresses in, through, as, and around us. Every situation and all suffering can be transformed by grace. Our hearts know this. We are grateful for the grace we received in the past and trust that we will be blessed again and again as we surrender all of our troubles, all of our concerns, our uncertainties, our doubts into that graceful embrace that is Spirit. We are a channel for grace. When we lend our hands in service, when we let the little things go, we are bringing grace into our world, into the lives of those around us. And today's quote is from 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 10. But by the grace of God, I am what I am, and his grace toward me has not been in vain. And so it is.
There should be words up here, a little quick translation.
Allah Jehovah Rama Sata Nama. The Punjabi of Satya, truth, Nama, name. That essence whose name is truth. Okay. There aren't words? Okay, never mind.
It's just us.
Just us.
It's all on us. Your job is to receive. It's by thy grace that I sing. It's by thy grace that I sing. It's by thy grace that I sing your holy name.
It's by thy grace that I feel. It's by thy grace that I feel. It's by thy grace that I feel your holy name.
Someday the day shall come when all the glory shall be thine. People will say it is yours, and I shall deny, not mine. It's by thy grace that I sing. It's by thy grace that I sing. It's by thy grace that I sing your holy name. It's by thy grace that I feel. It's by thy grace that I feel. It's by thy grace that I feel your holy name. Someday the day shall come when all the glory shall be thine. People will say it is yours, and I shall deny, not mine. Allah Jehovah Rama Satanama. 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 Peace to all, life to all, love to all. peace to all, life to all, love to all, peace to all, life to all, love to all, peace to all, life to all, love to all, your holy name, your holy name, your holy name.
Ah, I requested that song. You did a beautiful job. Thank you. Ah, wow, I'm floating up here now. I wanted to start this morning with one of my favorite stories. It's about a mom who's quite concerned about her kindergarten-aged son, Timmy. You see, shortly after the school year began, Timmy decided that he was perfectly capable of walking to school on his own. He didn't need mom to come with him. And they didn't live too far from the school. Mom wanted to give him that sense of, freedom and independence, but at the same time, being a good mom, she had a need to know he was safe. So she talks the situation over one day with her next door neighbor and good friend Shirley, and Shirley comes up with a great idea. She has a toddler at home, and she says, we need our exercise. We go for a walk just about every day. Why don't I'll put Marcy in the stroller, and we'll go for a walk the same time Timmy leaves for school, but we'll stay at a reasonable distance so we're not conspicuous and he won't even know we're there. So the very next day, that's what they started to do, and all went well for most of the week until the end of the week. The little girl who had been walking with Timmy looks at him and looks behind and says, "Have you noticed there's a lady and her little girl following us every day? What, do you know her?" And Timmy goes, "Yeah, they're walking along, kicking sticks and twigs. Yeah, I know her." He looks back and says, "That's my mom's best friend, Shirley Goodnest. And she lives right next door. And it's no worries, don't worry about it." Little girl says, "Yeah, but why is she following us?" And he goes, "Every night when I go to bed, my mom reads me the 23rd Psalm. And so it says, 'Surely goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life.' So I guess I'm stuck with them." And I love that story because, of course, it's a play on words from the 23rd Psalm. And do we remember that we're stuck with that? Surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives. Imagine if we really knew that and took that into our hearts. It's quite powerful. And there's a reason, of course, why this 23rd Psalm is so beloved. I mean, who cannot love? "The Lord is my shepherd." When I first heard that as a child, I thought it meant, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." In other words, I shall not want the Lord to be my shepherd. Of course, what it really means is, I shall not want for anything. I shall not lack anything. And these beautiful images of the shepherd to lead me beside still waters where I can relax, to make me lie down in green pastures. Sheep do not lie down and sleep if they're hungry. So these sheep that are lying down in green pastures are full and supplied, and it's such a beautiful scene that this psalm evokes for us. And of course, the shepherd has his crook and his staff, thy rod and thy staff. So the staff has a crook in it, and it's used to save a sheep if she falls in a crevice or something. And the staff the rod is used to fend off predators, wolves, and so on. So here is this image of the Lord being a savior and a protector, and of course a guide. And it's just such a beautiful thing to remember. So this idea of mercy also, let's talk about that. Mercy is closely related to the word grace. So in the dictionary, mercy is defined as compassion or forgiveness for someone who has the power to hurt you or judge you. Some Bible verses say, surely goodness and loving kindness will follow me all the days of my life. So this word mercy is closely related to the word grace, which Laura read about and we're talking about today. The name of my message this morning is my favorite word. Grace is my favorite word. If I could change my name, which is Kimberly Ann Hawkins, I would change it to Kimberly Grace Hawkins. So let's talk about grace. Charles Fillmore, the founder of Unity, defines grace in his book, The Revealing Word, like this. Grace is goodwill, favor, disposition to show mercy, aid from God in the process of regeneration. Many Christian denominations define it simply as unmerited favor from God towards humanity. We don't earn it. It's just given. It's a beautiful concept. Now, our theme for the month of February has been radical interconnection. And we've talked about interconnection with each other. We're all one. We're made of the same divine cloth. We've talked about interconnection with the animal world, nature, plants, and so on. And today I want to talk about interconnection with God. Our oneness with the divine, our oneness with our Creator. It is the principal, it's the principle, you know, PAL and then PLE, the principle in both unity and science of mind teachings. Now, the thing about grace is it's given, but we have to accept it because we also know in our New Thought teachings that our thoughts create. So we can be open to grace and enjoy grace, or, I forgot to bring my books up, or we can shut off from grace. So I have a poem by, some of you already know, Chalon Harkin, one of my favorite modern mystic poets. And she writes this about grace. It's a short little poem, but I think it's very powerful. She calls it Useless Umbrellas. The hardest work we'll ever do is holding up these useless umbrellas to block ourselves from all this grace. So what do you suppose our useless umbrellas are? Anybody? Pride? Karen? Thinking? Judgment? Worrying, yes, because by worrying we bring about what we worry about, right? Anyone else? These are the useless umbrellas. I think also our thoughts of unworthiness, because God doesn't think any of us is unworthy, right? But we can think we don't deserve something or think it's too good to be true. All of those silly thoughts that become umbrellas that keep grace from coming to us. In the Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes says this: grace is the givingness of spirit to its creation, the logical result of the correct acceptance of life and of a correct relationship to the Spirit. We are saved by grace to the extent we believe in, accept, and seek to embody the law of good. For the law of good is ever a law of liberty and never one of limitation. Another one of those umbrellas, right? There are limits to our good. Nonsense. That's not the way the divine thinks. And so, I loved that song. All I want from you is forever to remember me loving you. And today, this week, I sat with this idea of grace, this all-givingness of God. And I realized that I sometimes forget the depth of love that God has for me, for you, for all of its creation. I mean, if we really could bring that home here in our hearts, I think everything might change, right? And to know that that grace is for everybody. It's not just for some of us. This is what Julian of Norwich, the wonderful mystic, said. We are so preciously loved by God, we cannot even comprehend it. I think that's true. No created being can ever know how much and how sweetly and tenderly God loves them. It is only with the help of His grace that we're able to persevere in spiritual contemplation with endless wonder at his high, surpassing, immeasurable love, which our Lord in his goodness has for us. Ooh, let's breathe that in a bit. So I want to talk today not just about God's grace, which we've been talking about, towards us, but how we may show grace towards ourselves, because we sometimes don't, and how we may show grace towards other people. So let's see. Let's talk first about towards other people. There was a wonderful story, Roger Teal, who used to be the senior minister at Mile High Church in Denver, one of the biggest churches in our denomination, told. And I just love it, and I think it's a great example of how he received grace from another person. He was in high school and had just started to date that year and got up the courage to ask a cute girl to the prom. And she said yes. And of course, he was excited, but also extremely nervous. So he cleaned his car out that day, and he got the tux, and he bought a corsage, and, worried about whether she'd like it, and worried about what they'd talk about, etc. He goes to her house that evening, shakes hands with her dad, gives her the corsage, which she loved, and Mom takes lots of pictures. And they get in the car, and it's kind of awkward. They don't know what to talk about. But once they get to the restaurant, and he had made reservations at one of the nicest restaurants in Denver, one that was like high up on top of a building. And they walk in, and the maitre d' greets them, is very sweet, and seats them very politely, doesn't make any comment about how cute these, young kids are. He's just very respectful. And they sit down, look at the menu, and Roger orders a steak, because he thought that was kind of the manly thing to do. She orders shrimp. And things are looking up. They're relaxing a bit, and they're talking, and he's thinking, gosh, maybe she even likes me. And then they bring the dinner. And he takes his steak knife he takes his fork very delicately and sticks it in the steak. He's trying to be very polite, and starts to saw with his knife. And what happens is the steak flies off the plate, up into the air. He seems like it went in slow motion and hovered there and fell like 2 feet from the table. And he was like aghast, frozen, turning red. She was surprised. Her eyes are big like this. And the maitre d', who was standing just a few feet away with a towel over his arm, came up, picked up the steak with his towel, and said to Roger, "Sir, I am so sorry. The kitchen put that steak, they didn't put it on a steak plate. I can't believe that was not your fault. I feel so bad. You stay right here. I'll make you a new steak, and I'll be back in 10 minutes. And Roger looks at his girl and is sort of taking in the shift in the atmosphere and says, "Can you imagine a place like this not putting the steak on the proper plate?" She goes, "Yeah, of course there's no such thing as a steak plate, right?" So 10 minutes later, the steak comes out. She said, "I'll eat slowly until you get here." And they finish their meal, and all goes very, very well. They get up after he's paid to leave and pass the maitre d'. And when they're at the elevator, he looks back at the maitre d', and the maitre d' just smiles at him, and they exchange a knowing glance. And Roger said he's never forgotten the face of that man. He didn't know his name, but he could have made a fuss, been angry, embarrassed him. As it was, hardly anybody in the restaurant even noticed, because he moved in so seamlessly and with such a loving, compassionate presence. Isn't that beautiful? So I debated whether to bring this up today, but I'm going to. A lot of us have been shocked by what's come out in the so-called Epstein files. And I'm not going to name names, but we all know that there have been people in there that are involved, that royalty and politicians and spiritual leaders that a lot of us revered. And this is hard. It's difficult to see this underbelly of our, culture. And I think it's good it's coming out, right? I mean, secrets are no good, and there's pus in our society, and it needs to come forward so it can be healed. But I just want to say a word of caution to me and to all of us about what we do with that information. I mean, I think it's right and just that the information comes out. It's right and just that anybody involved experience the consequences of their own actions. But let's be careful about, what shall I say? Well, let me put it this way. I love the line from the Course in Miracles that says, I allow the Christ vision to look through my eyes. So how would Christ be seeing these people that have done nasty things? How would Christ be seeing them? What would Christ be saying about them? And to caution ourselves about getting too carried away with the condemnation. I'm not saying what happened was right. I'm not saying we should look the other way, none of that. But you know, there's always this we put people on pedestals sometimes, and then we want to just rip them, apart. And I think of Matthew, in Matthew 5:44-45, Jesus said this, God makes his sun rise on the evil and the good, and sends his rain on the just and the unjust. So in Science of Mind, remember, we teach there are deeds we could call evil, and there are a lot of them having taken place in this country and other countries, no doubt. But we don't believe a person's evil. We believe that we're taught to see the Christ in them, the face of God in them, despite anything they have done. We believe that we offer compassion and forgiveness. Again, forgiveness doesn't mean we're saying what you did was okay. It just means I see beyond that to who you are. And I'm thinking that in this whole mess, there are probably factors in our culture that we need to look at, like commercialism and spirituality, these authors who make tons of money and maybe feel pressure, and I don't know. And then, how we treat women and how we treat vulnerable people. I mean, there's just a lot for us to look at as a culture, and maybe we can do that with some compassion and some remembrance that we're all one, that we are all the face of God. And then, of course, there's just forgiveness for the little things, as Laura read about in her beautiful reading. So backing up a little bit about this idea of grace, well, let's move into how we forgive ourselves and how we show ourselves grace. Because if we can't show ourselves grace and be a little forgiving when we stray, how are we going to show grace to anyone else? Probably if we're tough on ourselves, we're going to be tough on everyone else, right? There's another story that I really love. Some of you may have heard. It's about the cracked pot. So in India, there was a man who carried 2 pots on a pole that was across his neck. And every day he went down to the stream and he filled the pots and he took water up to the master's house. One of the pots was perfect, and it felt very proud that it was able to help bring water to the master's house. The other pot had a crack in it. So by the time the water bearer got to the master's house, it was only half full. And that poor little cracked pot felt ashamed of itself. It just felt like, it wasn't doing its job that it was meant to do. And one day, after 2 years of this path up to the house, it said to the water bearer, I'm so sorry. I feel so bad. And the water bearer said, what do you mean? Well, I'm cracked and you do all the work, but when we get to the top of the hill in the master's home, for all your work, you're not getting a full measure of the water that you're intending. And the water bearer said, oh, my dear child, let's walk up there today, and I want you to notice the flowers along the path. And so they walk up, and there's all these beautiful flowers, all different colors, and the poor crackpot feels a little better when they get to the master's home, but still feels bad because it's only half full again. And he tells the water bearer that, it tells the water bearer that, and the water bearer says, listen, I knew about your crack. And so I planted seeds all along your side of the path. Notice there's no flowers on the other side. And so every day, that crack allowed those flowers to be watered. And every day, I would pick flowers and make a beautiful bouquet and give them to the master. So really, that's grace. It's God using a flaw to create beauty, and it's the water bearer using the flaw in a forgiving way to do good. And I believe that that's the truth, that even when we stray, when we do things we're not proud of later, that's how we grow, right? That's how God grows us. And those very things that became wounds or mistakes can create beauty, can create something magnificent, really. That's the power of the divine. So let me take a look here. Yeah, this from, I don't know where this came from. Grace is like the sun shines on the palace and the prison. It warms the garden and the weeds. It does not consult a moral checklist before rising. Grace is like that. It just is. So what would our lives be like if we could both accept God's grace, be open, put down the umbrella, and allow it to shower us? What would it be like if we could let go of our beliefs in limitation, our beliefs that something's wrong or missing from us? What would it be like if we could offer grace to other people, even when they do things that we don't approve of, even when they hurt us? Yeah. Grace from God, grace to others, and grace to ourselves. Yeah. I think it's time, my friends, to go into prayer. I have this funny feeling I'm forgetting something. Yeah, you know what? I wanted to share this with you as I close. In our old foundations class, we had a whole unit on grace. And I got out my binder this week and looked at my own notes when I took the class. And one of the assignments was to write about what do I believe it means to grow in grace. And this is what I wrote. I believe it means to deepen and perfect my ability to trust the divine in all aspects of my life, to surrender to that power and presence within me, to let go of my fears, my ego's need to control, manipulate, or prove I'm okay. Rather, I know I'm a divine expression, and as I allow Spirit to move through me, guide me, express as me, the great relief that gives way to lightness of spirit and ease, knowing knowing it's not I that doeth the work, but the Spirit within me, as Jesus said. It's not the Father, it's the Spirit within me that doeth the work. Allowing, right? Okay, let's go into prayer. There is, as we know, one life. That life is God. That life is grace itself, constant, compassionate, and ever present. This grace is not earned, it's not withheld. It's the very atmosphere in which we live and move and have our being. I affirm today that I stand in the field of grace. Where I have struggled, grace now flows. Where I have doubted, grace now reassures. Where I have judged myself, grace now restores. I release the need to force outcomes. I release the belief that I must strive to be worthy. I open my heart to the love that has always been right here. Grace carries me, guides me, transforms me. Even what I once called mistakes are woven into wisdom or wildflowers, as the story goes. Even what I once feared becomes a doorway to deeper trust. I walk forward in confidence, knowing that divine intelligence is unfolding in my life in perfect order. Grace is my foundation. Grace is my path. And so I rest in it, I trust it, I love it, and I pass it on. Knowing these words are heard, I release them now into the divine law, knowing they're done, and invite us to say together, so it is. Amen.
All right, well, we've got some words for you up here, I think. We hope you will sing along on this.
a soul like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to sing, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been here 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see.
We got the words up at the end.
Oh, they weren't that okay. Sorry.
Time now for our tithes and offerings. So thank you, ushers, Sylvia and Terry. As always, I'd just like to thank all of you for continuing to support us. We are in healthy financial shape, and that feels wonderful. We also tithe 10% of what we receive. Part goes to our home office, part goes to local organizations, and the board's in the process of deciding where that's going to happen this year. So let's say our affirmation together, shall we? Graciously I give from a place of love, knowing that as I give, so do I richly receive.
Circulation, circulation, like the water raining down to grow the flowers up through the ground. Circulation, circulation, the universe you give into will multiply it and send it back to you. Pressed down, a good measure, shaken together and running over. Pressed down, a good measure, shaken together and running over. Pressed down, a good measure, shaken together and running over. Pressed down, a good measure, shaken together and running over. Circulation, circulation, like the water raining down to grow the flowers up through the ground. Circulation, circulation, the universe you give into will multiply it and send it back to you. Will multiply it and send it back to you. Will multiply it and send it back to you.
Thank you.
Okay, how amazing that your story about the cracked pot watering the flowers and then the flowers are growing up
Yeah.
to the ground. Amazing grace.
Yeah, yeah. And even the circulation song, You know, it's like as we give out grace, we receive it, right? So thank you so much. Don't they do a great job? Thank you. I think we're going to need to start putting the songs in the order of service so the slide team knows what order they're in, because I think that was the problem. But we'll figure it out, huh? Yeah. Slide team. So let's acknowledge them while we're back here. So we've got Ben Rummel, Shannon Schnibbe, Jason Rummel, and Tom Frederick on sound. Yeah, thank you, you guys. So some announcements before we break for food and fellowship. Drumming circle won't meet today. Will forgot his drum, so not today. Tai Chi and poetry as spiritual practice will meet as always Tuesday morning. Next Sunday, our practitioners are having a fundraiser spaghetti lunch. Now, one might ask, why are the practitioners having a fundraiser? And I want you to know that these folks serve our community in so many ways, teaching classes, praying, holding high watch, having sessions with people. There are a lot of expenses involved. They have to renew their license every 2 years. They have to do continuing education credits for which they pay. We are in the process of having them all order their own business cards and new stoles so that you all know who they are on Sunday. So let's help them out a bit with the costs that they're incurring, that they incur in order to serve us. So this is going to be spaghetti, I think garlic bread, salad, different sauces. There will be gluten-free option. This is going to happen next week, and they're asking a love offering. So plan to stay next week if you can for lunch. Sign-ups are open for my class, Foundations, which is a new Foundations curriculum. This class starts on Wednesday evening, March 4th. It meets from 5:30 to 8. The early bird deadline lasts through Wednesday, I believe it is, February 25th. So you'll save some money if you sign up now and pay a $45 deposit. I'm excited to have some people returning. It's interesting. And I asked why. And they said, well, you know, first of all, you're in a new place each time you take a class, right? So a new class is wonderful, or even repeating a class. So I invite anybody to come. And Reverend Laura is teaching a brand new curriculum. And I believe it's called Embracing the Global Vision. Laura, come on up and tell us about this one. This is really, I think, going to be a great class.
Goodness. So one of the things, hi, my name is Reverend Laura Stewart, and we're going to be offering a 5-week accredited class entitled Embodying Our Global Vision, A Pathway to Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, Justice, and Belonging. It's going to be offered starting Tuesday, March 10th, and it will be running through Tuesday, April the 14th. We will not be having class the week of convention. There is an early bird sign up. If you sign up by next Sunday, you'll save $25. You just need to put down a $45 deposit, and that tuition cost is $145. If you wait longer than that, then the tuition is $170. There's one caveat. We need at least 8 to 10 people for the class to effectively work due to the group sharing that's occurred and the experientials. So if it is something that you're interested in and you have any questions, don't hesitate to come up and ask away or give me a call. There's a sign-up sheet in Bosworth Hall. And I think it's going to be a really exciting class. If not this time, then the next time that we choose to offer it. But I hope you'll consider it. Have a great day.
Could you say a little more? I know you've been preparing and reading the curriculum. Could you say a little more about why you were drawn to this class and what it's doing?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
It's needed. I mean, we live in a day and age where diversity, equity, and inclusion's in the forefront of everything that we're doing. For example, it's not just the color of our skin, the language that we speak, our sexuality. It's ableism. It's making spaces available to people. It's education, understanding the various ways that people learn. It's how do you support someone who's too short to reach the... I mean, there are a lot of things. There are a lot of centers that offer closed caption for their services for people who are hard of hearing. There are different services that are offered for people who are visually impaired. And these are things that I don't think we always think about. This class, though, gets into a whole broad range of ways that we other people and how to get beyond that. It's just fascinating. And quite honestly, it makes me a little nervous because it's not something I'm necessarily an expert at. These things can make us uncomfortable because it's easier to stay within our group of people, in our comfort zone. But in order to grow, in order to serve the greater good, we need to understand what is getting in the way within ourselves, within our environments, that prevent us from reaching out to more people, or quite frankly, to one another within the same organization. So if you have a chance, if you're interested, let me know, and have a great day.
Thank you. That's the part I was hoping you'd share, because she's excited about that, looking within. Because we all have, we all grew up in a culture, families and so on, where we took on judgments, beliefs, prejudices that we're not even sometimes aware of. So, because my question was going to be, how do I grow? And she answered that. That's how I grow, by looking at that and healing what's inside. Thank you, Laura, for offering that. Let's see, a couple more things. We need a few more volunteers to help with coffee and kitchen setup and cleanup on Sunday. So there is an orientation on March 8th, which is 2 Sundays from now, right? 8:45 and again at 11:15. Terry, Anita, those people, Sal, who work in the kitchen. I don't know who all is doing the training. Terry, is it you? Where are you? She's not here. She's in the kitchen. If that speaks to you, please let Terry know, or Anita, who's sitting here. Let's see. Yeah, if you have any questions, Terry says you can call or text her. Her number is in the newsletter. On March 11th at 10 a.m. on Zoom, our practitioner, Treasure Wild, is hosting a workshop I'm planning to go to. It's called AI as Co-Creator for Spiritual Creatives. You can sign up in Bosworth Hall. She's asking a suggested love offering of only $15. This is an amazing tool if used properly and if we understand it. We all know that there's some dangers involved, but I do think it can be a terrific tool, and Tricia's done a lot of work in this area. Let's see, our Google Calendar, our community calendar is now up on the website. So you can go to the calendar, just click on calendar on the website, and you can see everything that's going on, and it's being updated periodically. So that is good news. Thank you to DeLacy Patterson and Michaela, our admin, for getting that up and running. And also Laura, who is now putting the musicians in, and Laura Stewart, who's going to be putting the practitioners in. It's just awesome. You can sign up for our newsletter here in Bosworth Hall or on our website. We have stopped printing a copy of the newsletter, but you need to let me know if you need a printed copy. We're not sure, we may be wasting paper, and we surely don't want to exclude anybody, but please sign up if you can receive an email. It's as simple as that. You know everything that's going on. Let's see. Name tags. Please wear your name tags. It's a great way to know each other, get to know each other, and there's a sign-up sheet if you don't have one in Bosworth Hall. There's also a prayer box at the back of the sanctuary. We pray all week for you or someone you're requesting prayer for. I'm going to ask our practitioners and ministers in the room who are available for prayer now to come forward. Remember, they're available for what we call a 5-minute miracle. So please, if there's something heavy on your heart, don't leave with it. Come see one of these wonderful spiritual prayers, and they'll know the truth for you. All right, before we turn it over to our musicians for our closing song, I'm going to read you a short benediction from Carolyn Mace. Grant me the grace to dissolve my negative thoughts about myself today. I breathe the grace of kindness into my heart, and may the grace of healing flow abundantly to everyone in need of help. Stand if you're able for our closing song, and join us for food and fellowship afterwards.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it
place that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now.